you gonna leave the woman stranded, alone to raise the babies? You used to work hard for the ladies, and press the goddess, you can't do without it. Show us respect till you give our best, so we can go on and on. We see your family get stronger, stronger. Family is our power, together we will reign. Reprogram our mind and make our people do the same. Unify our da-da-da, it's not an option, but I die for my people, so I can watch it, I can watch it. Black boy, fly, black girl, fly, black girl, fly, boy, fly. Girl, fly. You gon' fly. You gon' fly. We gon' fly. You gon' fly. You gon' fly. We gon'
Come caress my saddened heart, my sunrise and my darkest dreams. All my hostilities tame when you kiss me. Come into my darkened room. Come where I'm waiting. I'm waiting here just to please you. All I want is you. All I want is you. Love on me. All I want is you. All I want is you. All I want is you. To love on me. All I want is you. Don't nobody hold me. Don't nobody kiss me the way you do. Nobody, no. Don't nobody hold me. Don't nobody kiss me the way you do. Nobody. Not a day goes by that I don't burn for you. Find myself yearning for the heaven that you bring me from your black hands. Touch me, touch me. Wanna feel you inside me. All I want is you.
All right, peace and black power family. Welcome to another episode of Do Nots Radio, place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born Alive, and I am inadequate to introduce this being that you see across from me on this screen. This magnificent, masterful pen and mind. This platinum-minded visionary who has traversed the various seas of the world, and here to share a magnificent worldview that is centered, that is surrounded, that is fortified and founded in the advocacy of a lost art, the art that sparked the universe into existence, the original Big Bang. Black love here
Indeed.
on Do Nots Radio. So it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some, present to others the phenomenal, multi-talented, multifaceted, multi-tiered, multi-layered, magnificent brother of mine, the platinum pen himself, the musical genius and talent of my brother, Mr. Thaddeus Kane, in the building. Welcome to the
Man,
space.
man, thank you for having me, beloved. Thank you for having me. You gave me you gave me a lot of credit, a lot of accolades.
Hey, that's a little bit. That's a little bit. You
Yeah,
understand? Just a little
I appreciate
something,
it,
something.
beloved. But that's what we do, man. We gotta it's about uplifting each other, man. Uplifting each other. So infinite gratitude for that, beloved. I appreciate that.
Honest, honest, honest. I am on the job. That's what Melvin said to Baby Boy at the end of the movie. He said, "I'm on the job." He said, so I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited to have you in the building, sharing your story and your journey.
Delighted
And
to be here, brother.
definitely. So you and that God sent that is with you. You know, she pulled me by the ear and was like, "Fam, Thaddeus is coming." I was like, "Yes, ma'am." You understand? So I was like, uh, I had to get my stuff, together and get it together. So
Yeah, yeah.
love dynamic.
She tries to keep me in the mix of things, man. I'm so heavily involved, in this music.
Right.
It's yeah. So she, from time to time, she has to rescue me. So like you are an author too, right?
Right.
So yeah. So I'm with that being said, she's on me now about finishing up this latest project, something for Eve. So I'll be right on top of that. Right after I finish this compilation, I go ahead and finish that up and get that out to the fans who've been waiting for that, man. And so it's definitely it's a good piece. It's going to be a good piece. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing it, releasing it, and getting the feedback.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. So she told me, her version of how y'all met. One of my favorite episodes from Martin was when Martin and Gina they shared their story on how they met. And, when Martin came, Martin had his view, Gina had her view, and then, the people who were the onlookers, they had their view. So
Yeah.
curious to hear, to the best of your recollection, one of the greatest days of your life. You understand what I'm saying? How
Okay.
how
Well,
did it go down?
I was I was in Miami with my first cousin, Mo Will. What's up, Mo Will? Peace to Mo Will. Um, we were in Miami at a music conference, and I think it was like the second day we were leaving, walking down the sidewalk, talking back and forth, headed back to the car, and a brother passed us up. You know, he greeted us, greeted him back. I think he gave us a flyer to some event or something. I can't quite remember. So I may have, we may have passed. It may have been like 3 seconds, and he's like, "Hey, brother, hold up, man." It's like, "Yeah, what's up?" He's like, "You know, what is it? What is that you wearing?" It was this fragrance oil that I was wearing. He was like, I love the way it smells. Never smelled anything like it before. So get into the conversation about the oil and come to discover, that I'm, he discovers that I'm an artist, um, that I, into the music and writing as well. I have some plays that I'd written and some books as well. So he tells me, he said, well, I can put you in contact with somebody that can help you out with the books. I was like, all right, bet. He gives me the information. I call her. Um, I don't know if she responded the first time that I called. I definitely left a message, if I'm not mistaken. She calls back. As a matter of fact, it was on my mother's birthday. May she rest in purple peace. My mother's birthday. And we talked and hadn't seen each other, just phone conversation. Back and forth about the books, what I'm into, the arts and everything. And next thing you know, what's this, 2023, still married. This is 2011. Yeah, like 2011. Yep, 2011. And That's when we, met. We didn't meet face to face. It may have been later on that year, around the fall sometime, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a beautiful experience, very beautiful sister inside and out. And she aided and assisted me in my fortification. I think that a part of where we fail, not just as men, but especially like as Black men, is we don't allow the space for our sisters, our queens, our wives to be who they are in their divinity, in their divine Blackness. And we don't even realize that that's what strengthens and fortifies us, the nurturing and the comfort. That's a strength, right? So when we neglect those things, we find ourselves out here in the world and we think that we have it all together. We standalone men, we good, this, that, and the other. And that's not necessarily the case, right? We, it takes a positive and a negative to, create power, generate power. We need that other half. We need that better half. It's very important. It keeps us, women keep us grounded, especially if you have a sister that's, like sound in her heart and mind and spirit. They can keep us grounded. And it's a beautiful dynamic. The Black love is nothing like loving a Black woman or being loved by a Black woman. It's just it's beautiful, it's powerful, it's moving. All of everything that's good and wholesome, beneficial, right, spiritual, it's in our sisters. But we've allowed this Western ideology and this Western thinking, or this non-thinking and non-ideology, to misguide us and mislead us and guide us astray from what's right and proper. Even like with love, we're in a hypersexualized society. We've become hypersexualized, and we've confused love with lust. So a part of what I do in my writing is I show the difference. I express the difference. That sometimes lust does lead to love, and sometimes what you think is love is just simply lust. But when you look at the energy of it, the energy in it, you sense the energy. You know exactly what it is and what you get. What you get it into. When you're in love and when somebody's loving you, you know it without it even being said. It's energetic. So I have been blessed to have the opportunity to write about, like how I feel, writing from places of anticipation, write from places of expectation, write from places of manifestation. And it's therapeutic for me too, as well. It helps me just as well as it helps other people. And that's a profound beauty in and of itself, that, my medicine is medicine for others as well. So, yeah. But that's, I might have been a little long-winded there, but that's how we met. We met.
Hey, don't you dare!
Based
Don't you dare!
on a fragrance.
I love that.
It was a fragrance, brother.
Woo, woo. That's what I'm talking about. So, with this oil was the basis for this anointing that you carry. Was the basis.
I never looked at it like that, brother. I never looked at it like that. That's heavy there, brother. Yeah.
I got it from you. You understand what I'm saying? I got it from you. Because this anointing that you carry and that you speak about, if it wasn't in you, it couldn't have been on you. And then where was the brother in regards to his anointing to be able to recognize it and to immediately carry that back to where it was supposed to go? So
yeah,
this divine space, because you had some good smelling oil. If it's on the wrong person, it ain't gonna smell like it smelled in the bottle.
Right.
Because when it mixes with them alchemically, it's going to reveal who they're not versus who they are. You
Right.
know, so
Yeah.
we survived the axe generation. You know what I'm saying? If you
Yeah.
ain't washed your behind and you just poured a bunch of axe on it,
Yeah.
you're gonna smell the axe. The axe is gonna bring out the funk even more. You see what I'm saying? So
Indeed.
you're gonna
Yeah.
funky axe. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you know, it had the right alchemical blend with the right attracting space that was necessary for it to be recognized in order for it to be propelled. So you had that anointing in your spirit and you was at the appointed place at the appointed time in order for this thing to happen, and you still had to act even with all of these instances. You still had to act on it unbeknownst to
Yeah.
you of what it would come to. So you
Right.
were there pursuing your passion, right? Your passion and your purpose. You out there with your family, you doing what you're doing, and this other part of your passion, this other part to your story is something that propels. And this is why I wanted to start that way, because we're here because of that story. You know,
Indeed.
you and I, we're here because of that story. And there's so many stories that you've written and that your queen has written and told and shared with the world. And we found relatable experiences or fantasy experiences or both. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Out of
Yeah.
something we can relate to because we know, or something that we wish we had. So it's a beautiful kind of space, through the trials and the tribulations, the greatest and the most powerful, beautiful struggle. I open with the Big Bang, literally.
Indeed.
So
Indeed. Yeah.
that's a evolutionary process of the story. So I wanted to ask you, as far as your recollection goes, your storytelling journey when you started to now, if you could look back to look forward, had that Sankofa moment, what story did you initially want to tell, and how has that story traversed and changed throughout your storytelling journey?
I don't know if the course changed per se. It may have become a bit more profound.
Mm.
It definitely had much more meaning. Even as like going through the editing process, uh, the books were written before we'd even met, but falling in love with her and loving her and her falling in love with me and loving me back, that reciprocity and love. I edited some things in the book. I had to change some things in the book because my perspective on love was I had a clearer vision, right? Because I wasn't alone anymore. If that makes any sense. I had someone that can give me feedback. I had someone that could give me wisdom as well. There was a lot that I still needed. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. So I got to give her. I must give her credit, for that, because had I not turned around to greet the brother, had the brother just said to himself, "Oh, I don't know what that fragrance is, but it smells good," and kept on moving,
Mm-hmm.
you and I wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Right.
So there's a lot that was born from a fragrance, from a scent. A lot was born from it, so much so that, like I said earlier, like here we are,
Right.
several books in, several beats in, many more beats, many more books to go. And we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. We have many more stories to tell, and not just black love, but a lot of black stories.
Right.
Black stories and different genres. We're multifaceted, multi-chakral people.
Right.
We're coming all. Was like gumbo. We're all types of everything.
Yes.
And to be able to write from those places, to be able to contemplate and imagine a reality that no one else can imagine, and to write it, and for someone to picture that reality, that's beautiful. That's it's beautiful, and it's humbling. You know, it's humbling. It makes you careful, makes you cautious, makes you a bit more diligent and conscious. And I had the opportunity, you know, through, you know, my queen, to love myself a lot more. You know, sometimes we're content where we are, and you think, oh, this is the acme, this is the peak, this is the pinnacle, I'm good. Then the other half comes along, like, hold up, I got something I want to show you. I got something I want to express to you that's going to benefit you and, you know, you and me, you know, and, you know, all praise is due, man. Like, here we are, you know, here we are.
Love that.
I
So,
think my first book that I wrote, I think I was in the 3rd grade. The book was called Joe Funny, and it was illustrated. I think the book may have been probably, I don't know, may have been 10, 15 pages maybe. Never forget, I went to I'm telling my age here. There was a store. I was in Tampa. I was living in Tampa at the time. There was a store called TGNY. I don't know if they're familiar with that up this way, but it's popular down south, TGNY. And I went in there, and they had the colored pencils. And they used to have like that 12-pack of colored pencils. I went and I, you know, had my allowance money. I went and bought the colored pencils, some notebook paper, and I like stapled the pages together. I made a cover, you know, drew a stick man and everything. Joe Funny, that was his name. I don't even remember what the book was about. But that was my first book in the 3rd grade, and I've been writing ever since. Poetry, my thoughts, lyrics, songs, lectures, books, you name it. You know, I've as long as the pen is leaking, I'm writing. You know, the power's on, the battery's charged, I'm keying. So it's I'm in this, you know, to win it. In it to win it.
I love that. I love that. So, the story got more profound. So,
Indeed.
y'all's connection, you know, transcends what was in the written space and elevated it to the physical space,
Yeah.
to the spiritual space, to the emotional space. You know, reading, you know, these profound works is acclimating to either a reality or a fantasy, you know, for most people. So
Indeed.
vicariously, you see these characters that came to you that was relentless with you, like, nah, we're not going nowhere, fam. We moving in. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like it became like Oda Mae Brown and Patrick Swayze's character Sam, you know, and Ghost. You know,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, all right, you ain't gonna help me. I'm gonna lay out in front of your house. I've been reading, ain't tired. No,
Yeah.
all night until he's like, all right, I'm gonna pick up this pen and I'm beginning to write. You know, and the story begins to flow out. And now you have to take it to somebody who don't have your passion, but has a passion to see you in the finished form, in the, you know, graduated form that you
Yeah.
don't see yourself yet. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What was that process like with her taking your work? Because I believe that's how it happened. Like, she took your work
Yeah.
and began to, you know, refine it. What was that?
Man, look, I was in my feelings. I was like, you know, I don't put all of this, you know, all of these bodies that work together and we come along. change this. I wouldn't say this. I would say that. I took this out. And I was like, nah, we're not doing that. But hey, it was like pulling teeth. I was like, I was standing firm. I was like, nah, no, nah, we're not doing that. But I broke. I broke. I broke. What ended up, and making the changes. But as like I was saying earlier, I was it needed to be changed because I had changed. I've been sitting on that work for a few years, and I had changed since those writings. Just after meeting her, I changed. Being involved with her, I changed. So it made sense to change, but I was just like so reluctant. I was like, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my ish. Yeah. But it was all for the better. It was all for the better, and it takes in love there's trust. And you have to trust who you love and love who you trust. And my thing was, even if I'm not cognizant of what's going on, I have to believe that she has not my best interest at hand, but our best interest at hand, because this is us. So she's not going to do anything, malicious, diabolical, or deviant, towards our foundation, to sustain and maintain and strengthen the foundation. So I submitted to the changes, and here we are. She's not changing much more of anything else, that's for sure. I understand. I understand her mindset as far as that's going. So it's like I said, having a better half is beautiful, brother. I've absolved and relinquished myself of so much stupidity. Because you got the queen is saying, like, she'll point stuff out to me sometimes, like men, we move different, and some of the things that she points out is just like me being a man. It's just me being a man. Like, she won't. It's like earlier, she dropped some incense sticks on the floor. Well, me, I see them on the floor, I'm just going to pick it up. With her, it's a process. So she sees me going to pick the incense up off the floor, and she's in panic mode. She's processing, okay, what else? Where's he going to put it? Is he going to put it on top of something I'm going to touch? All of those things are playing through her mind. But with us, it's just pick the incense up and put it someplace and just take it off the floor. Pick it up off the floor. With her, like, nah, them sisters were like, nah, you just can't put it in. Leave it on the floor.
Right.
I'll take care of it. I'm almost banned from the kitchen. I gotta look. Hey, now I have to make requests and ask, is it okay if I go in there and get a snack or something, get something to drink?
Right.
You okay with that? You cool with that? So yeah, but it's beautiful, man. I wouldn't change any of it, man, for anything in the world. This is a beautiful experience that's changed me for the better. And I appreciate her and I love her for that forever. Yeah. And that's where, those reflections, they're in the books. When I'm writing about those, that Black love, those are bits and pieces of myself in every book. Bits and pieces in every book. What I've experienced, what I like to experience, that's ink to paper. And I'm just delighted that there's a readership and that people are able to relate to the characters and relate to the emotions and see themselves in the characters. That's profound, because that's part of our responsibility as creatives, as artists, is to take people away from where they are, from their place, and put them in your space, and they may and still find things that are familiar to them in your space, but it just gives them a perspective, better perspective. You may find through some of the writings ways to solve some of your relationship problems, how to enhance the love, why we love, when we love, why it's important to love, what things come from love, what's manifest in in the universe as a result of love. So it's something that we take for granted, and as men, especially Black men, it's something that it's not frowned upon that we talk about it, but when Black men talk about love, especially amongst each other, often we're looked at as being weak. Right? That's not weak, man. That's the power. That's the strength right there. That's the humility right there. And that love, it's all right there, man. Your sound, your being sound, your firmness, your peace of mind, your peace of heart, your peace of spirit, your peace of soul. It's all in love, bro. It's all in love. It's the highest form of understanding. You know what I'm saying? So come on, man. I'm not going to talk you to death knowledge.
Hey, talk me to life then. If you ain't gonna talk me to
Yeah,
death, talk
yeah,
me
you
to life.
understand? We'll be on here, man. The batteries, we have to recharge the phones.
Hey, I got time. I got time for it because this is a place where it's uplifted and celebrated and reinforced.
Indeed, indeed.
Because the dynamics that exist by our open enemies are to paint the pictures of the opposite.
Right.
They have trillions of dollars, like destroying the Black family, destroying the dynamic and the fabric of the trust between the Black man, woman, and child is $1 trillion industry because the rest of the world can now intercept. Bruce Lee said Jeet Kune Do's definition was the way of the intercepting fist.
Right.
So this intercepting analogy is applied in our existence to where there's someone in between us blocking our connectivity because they are capitalizing off of our lack of a connection
Indeed.
or inability to properly see one another clearly for who we are and not for who we appear to be. That's
Indeed.
the difference between understanding and misunderstanding.
Yep.
Understanding is to see things clearly for what they are, not for what they appear to be. So if I don't have a working knowledge or in wisdom, I can have a misunderstanding
Yeah.
because I didn't do the knowledge. You see what I'm saying? I didn't
Yeah.
apply the wisdom. So to arrive at understanding, I'm going to arrive at a misunderstanding. And if I misunderstand me, I'm going to misunderstand everything else. So
Yeah.
all of these things happen and work in tandem. So this is a place where Black love, where Black life is celebrated, and elevated. It's not something where it's degraded. You have a billion other, spaces out there where it has Black people on it. So that's an attractive to your eye, but to your ear and to your spirit, it's not.
Right.
Because there's an agenda that's there where traumatized beings who created the universe are now in a tumultuous space where we no longer find value in self and it's reflected in our dealings with one another and a beneficent space for everything else in existence. My mama used to say while the cat's away, the mice will play. So the mice
Yeah.
are playing off of that inability or the presence, lack of the presence thereof, where we see each other righteously. So yeah, this whole station was created with that in mind. The muck and the mire that's out there, the improper propaganda, all of that. I was like, that's not what I see in real life.
Right.
But it could be our reality if we don't reel each other in.
Right.
We grew up in the 90s and we saw a lot of those movies and films and things like that. And it might have been a small drop of what we had going on in our reality. But by the end of the 90s, that was the entire lifespan now. You couldn't find this outside.
Right.
The TV shows and the movies became our reality versus our reality influencing the TV shows and the movies. So if you didn't write about it, if y'all didn't speak about it, if y'all didn't display it, you wouldn't see it. So
Yeah.
now these things are, a lost art to where you have, as you spoke about the readership is longing for this
Right.
and they're
Right.
getting everything else before they get to you, and that becomes a situation that's a problem because, you know, storytelling, whether it's visual or it's in a reading space, it has to connect. Somebody has to have this experience and they're looking for it. And then the lack of representation in that regard has it like, okay, I want to read something black. I want to see something black. I want to hear something black. I want to feel something black. But the black that I see, hear, and feel doesn't match what's in my head or match what's in my reality. Like, oh, I'm not, I ain't a dope pusher. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't operate from the slave narrative. Like, so where do I go to live a regular black life? Where is that represented? Where is that shown? Where is that supported? Where is that loved? Even
Right.
to the point where you spoke about love being marginalized amongst black men. You see what I'm saying? We grew up, in that space where that was something that was celebrated, and then went from celebrated to degraded. Like, oh, you sound soft.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you sound weak. Like what, bro? What are you talking about? You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So now it became a space where you're looking at, the young people like, oh man, y'all missed the boat. So we got to build a bridge in between to see
Yeah.
the strength that's associated with black love to, combat the negative associations and affiliations in regards to it. So,
Indeed, beloved. Yeah. Yeah.
don't get me started, Thaddeus. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Don't me
Oh yeah.
started.
I get it. Um. I That's one of the reasons why I approach creativity. Yeah, it's an approach for me. I don't take it lightly. I don't take it for granted because I know that I'm doing it to share. So it turns into, well, what am I sharing? What am I calling people to? Right? If I'm writing about, like death and destruction and confusion and chaos, if that's all I'm writing about, if that's all the music is, that's all I'm putting out to the world, that's my only message, then that's my only influence. And someone's going to be influenced by that. So you got to put something better out, reciprocity. The universe operates off of reciprocity. What you put in, what's going to come out, how much you're going to put in, how much is going to come out. So how important is our responsibility, our accountability for what we're issuing forth, as creatives, as artists. It's a divine responsibility, especially when you have the opportunity to reach so many, There's a lot of lost people out there, man. And people that you sometimes they're looking for you. You don't even know they're looking for you, but eventually they find you, so it's a lot of responsibility and not just the expression, but sharing the expression, someone receiving that expression, that art, and taking that in and acting on it, sensing and feeling what you felt, seeing what you see, taking on your perspective, seeing you in the reflection. It's heavy, bro. It's a lot of responsibility. And I look at it, from my perspective and my experiences, the creative arts, it's like a divine science. It's a science in and of itself, and it's yours, depending on how you create and what you create. It's yours. You're the alchemist, you're the chemist, You're the biologist. You're all of that. You're putting it all together, and there's something that you're issuing forth because you're looking for a certain result. Do you want people angry? Do you want people sad? Do you want them happy? Is it a mix of emotions? What do you want? And what are you going to do to compel such? And how are you going to compel such? You see, so I think the deeper you get into yourself, the more real you are with yourself, with your art, and sharing what you create. It'll show up. It'll manifest as real. That all things real appear in three-dimensional form. So it'll manifest in all of those respective dimensions. If it's pure and if it's real, you'll feel it and you'll know that it's real. Even from imaginary places, making up different places, building cities, creating cities and communities and books. People read those things and they live there. They eat at those restaurants. They know those characters. They interact with those characters. And that's what we're supposed to, I think that's what, like I said, it's a part of our responsibility as artists, creatives, take you from where you are to another space, another place, give you another perspective. And at your leisure, you can go back to where you came from if you so decide. But, we're going to make sure that you go back whole, and leave with something good. Essentially, that's what you want. You want people to leave with something good, nothing detrimental to their lives. Only benefit. Good, righteous, and wholesome.
Definitely. Now I want to talk about this other passion, the passion that had you in the space, in the place where you were on your path to find your path.
Yeah.
Music, your music influences, your musical journey, your musical story. Your earliest recollection to
man. Let's see. Okay, so I come from a family of musicians. I had aunts that sang. My mother was a pianist. My grandmother was the church organist. My youngest aunt, Nisi, she was the one that put me onto the wax. Wax. I grew up in the 8-track, 8-track era. Yeah, so I saw the wax, the 8-track, cassettes, CD. I saw the entire evolution. So coming from a family of musicians, I guess it's just always been in me. So I played around with different instruments, keys, drums. I played horns. In high school, I'm fiddling around with the guitar now. Not as proficient as I like to be, but with practice, comes something a little better. I don't know about perfect, but it'd be something a little better than what I'm doing. Yeah. So yeah, the journey, I just found it, growing up, being around it all the time, it was like I didn't even, it wasn't anything that I missed. It was always there. The wax was always there. The 8-tracks are always there. Then I think it's like maybe around 12 or 13, I had some turntables. So I started DJing lightweight a little bit. I grew up in the break dance era, the B-boys, graffiti and the whole nine. So I'd always been involved, and always been involved. And I think what set me apart and kind of, to a degree, for lack of better terms, ostracized me in different circles of music was because my ear was different. I heard things different. I didn't like to, even when I was listening to music, I didn't like to listen to what was popular. I wanted to listen to what was different. I was looking for influence, and some of my influences, like growing up, like Curtis Mayfield, Um, uh, oh man, the who am I? Donald Byrd,
Mm.
um, Stevie Wonder, Stanley Clark, George Duke, Nina Simone, Phoebe Snow, Lou Rawls, Bill Withers, Fleetwood Mac, the
Mm.
Doobie Brothers,
Mm.
Black Sabbath. I listened to all of it, man.
Mm.
All of it, and like it just influenced me and molded and cultivated me throughout the years, and I knew that listening to different sounds, doing different things would give me the opportunity to express myself in a myriad of ways. Even when I was in the Navy, traveling overseas, we would stop at different ports. I would go to different nightclubs. I was DJing at different nightclubs.
Mm.
Yeah, couldn't speak any of the language, but they would understand somewhere. Hey, look, I DJ. Let me spin some records. Oh, okay, come on. So I DJ for like this. As a matter of fact, this is in the first place I DJed was in Rhodes, Greece. Can't recall the name of the club, the nightclub, but he let me DJ for like 15 minutes. Then he told me, come back tomorrow and you can DJ all night.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's what I did, man. And like I said, just involving myself in it, experiencing different music, different sound, outside of the norm, outside of the realm of what everyone else is familiar with. It benefited me a great deal. It shaped my understanding of acoustics. Sound. Have a different respect for sound, because I understand that it has a very strong power of compulsion behind it. So that musical journey, there was a lot of education that came along with it, a lot of letdowns, a lot of surprises that were, good surprises. But all in all, it's just that's been my medicine. Now that I
Mm.
think about it, that's been my medicine like for decades. Like I'm 54 now. Um, the earliest experience I have with music, I would probably say, now that I'm thinking about it, that I can recall my Uncle George had in his back room at my grandmother's house, he had a bass guitar and a keyboard. And we would go like in the room. I'm the oldest grandchild, so I was around before a lot of them, everyone else came around, firstborn grandchild. So my uncle would be in the back playing bass guitar, keyboard, and
Mm.
he always, asking me and then, later on my other cousins, he would play different cartoon riffs and then ask, what's this I'm playing? What is this? Pink
Mm.
Panther. He had all types of stuff. So I actually, as far as like my bass lines, when I'm playing a lot of my music, the bass lines is based on what I would hear him play.
Mm.
So a lot of that is from, the bass lines is like how he would riff and how he would play, and there are variations of that. So I took a lot of, just sitting here thinking about it now, talking with you, a lot of those breadcrumbs I've carried along. I didn't even realize I was baking the loaf, but here we are.
Mm.
You just convinced me. You just let me know I've been baking bread all these years, man.
Right.
Bringing it all along. So yeah, it's been a beautiful experience, brother. It's been a beautiful experience. I mean, I'm sitting here right now. I'm talking to you, and I have the Machina marked, 3 next to me. Looking at the Focusrite, USB audio. I'm looking at, the computer here, keyboard to my left, a drum set further to my right. So, and an artist is here already. After we finish this, I'm gonna get into it with the artist. Get into the music. So it's it is what it is, man. It's a part of who I am, and my wife knows that music is. She tell you that music is my first wife. She's my second wife. but I probably treat her the best. I'm quite sure I treat her the best. But she has an understanding. She knows that like we're daily. Everything that we do, every interaction that we have, is based on our future. And once we realize that our future is transitioning into another type of future, right? There's something you want to leave behind for others, that, you want someone to carry the torch. I have a signature sound, based on, just simple mathematics, but it can get complex the more you start adding up. I'm going to share that. I got to share that science with somebody. I just can't take it with me. I want that to be, somebody to have that soul science. So it's, I don't know, man, this thing it's beautiful. And I don't know what my state of mind would be if I wasn't as involved in it as I am. I don't know, like, where I'd be, what I'd be doing. No idea. Yeah.
That womb space that is the music, that's our conceptual space. Many of us were incarnated into the physical realm, from the
Indeed.
immaterial space from that place. I
Yeah.
know my mom and daddy had some Curtis Mayfield going on, whether they whether they told me about it or not.
Yeah, Curtis Mayfield. Curtis Mayfield doesn't get enough credit as he should. That brother, man, he was ahead of his time, definitely ahead of his time, and his composition and production prowess is just it's remarkable. It feels and sounds black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It sounds black, like that soul music. It just sounds black, and it's pure. And we're losing that now in music. We're losing the purity, the innocence of it.
Right.
It's being corrupted. It's being degraded. It's being defaced. It's being demoralized. A lot is going on. It's being whored out. Yeah, the music is being whored out. It's flooded out. And we have to, bring some dignity back to it.
Right.
And we know there's a machine that's in place that's the antithesis of everything that's righteous. And they don't want to hear or see or feel or sense anything that's on the frequency that we're on, as ambassadors of the Most High on this hell globe. They are against us. We're against the machine. The machine is trying to run us over. But we're strong and a fortified people, man. The essence of the universe. So we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. But we have to make sure that when we leave, that those who are still here realize that they're not going anywhere either. You gotta, keep forward with the charge of the message, and make sure that we're upholding and fulfilling our divine responsibilities, because each and every one of us have divine responsibilities, whether we know it or not. Some of us don't act on those because we either don't know or we don't care. That's it. You don't know, you don't care.
Right.
So we got to do better, and I think there's hope for us, man. There's hope for the arts, and this isn't anything new. What we're experiencing, with the music, with writing, it's historic. There's always been those who have been against the arts and the artists and the creative voices, the voices of expression, the uplifting voices, the voices that allow you to love and to build. Is, those are the voices they try to suppress and oppress. But we, and knowing and understanding who we are, we stand firm on who we are in this universe, and we don't fall, we don't break, we don't fall. We keep charging, we keep moving forward. Bravery, courage, determination, intelligence, and knowing that, no matter how it looks, how the game looks now, we are definitely going to win. We will win. But we just got to, stand firm, man, and just charge forward sensibly, as a responsible people, as responsible artists, responsible MCs, responsible producers, responsible musicians, responsible writers, responsible lovers. Just be responsible and love ourselves and hold ourselves up to higher standards, and kill the negative image and stereotypes and perspectives that people have of us and that we even have of ourselves. Because there's some self-hatred out here too, some self-loathing, a lot of that going on. So not just for others, but for ourselves, what we do. So what's the old adage? All black ain't black, all white ain't white. So got to move energetically, like energy, like energy, like-minded, A alike, B alike, C alike. You already know.
I heard that somewhere before,
Yeah.
I heard that somewhere before. Once upon a time.
Yeah, once upon a time. Right. Yeah.
Now,
you get that symphony out there?
Yeah, yes. The symphony of traumatic experience, colonially exposed.
Yeah.
Now I'm working on a book and a documentary that I would love for you and your queen to be in. Two of them, actually. But,
sign us up.
The one I'm thinking about, particularly as it relates to music, I'm looking at the hip hop industry. And my research question is, does the hip hop industry owe black people reparations? So in the space of the reparations
right
construct, the macrocosm, I'm looking at the microcosm of an industry, not the entire entertainment industry, just the hip hop industry in specific, dealing in the space of specificity.
Yeah.
So I'll ask precursorily, to you, my brother, from your vantage point, does the hip hop industry owe black people reparations?
Does the hip hop industry owe us reparations? That's heavy, man. I mean, I could say yes and no. The yes is going to be the better answer. So let me start with no. I would say no because we take this in willingly. As adults, we take whatever the negative stereotypes, whatever the positive stereotypes, whatever the stereotypes, the stereotypes, we take all of that in willingly. Now, for those who don't know, for the yes, it will be because of all of the damage that some of it has caused. Believe it or not, as we were saying earlier, how compulsory music is. We have a lot of brothers and sisters in prison, a lot of the brothers and sisters in the grave, a lot of brothers and sisters in the street, a lot of brothers and sisters that's on drugs, based on the culture of hip hop. Whatever may have been glorified in hip hop that was not to our benefit. A lot of the, let's say, for example, here in Baltimore, a lot of the issues here in Baltimore with the gunplay, a lot of it is with the youth, right? A lot of it is with the youth. Think about youth not having emotional intelligence because their brains aren't fully developed yet. So the power and compulsion with them is very strong. It doesn't take much to blow them one way or the other. It's whatever's popular, whatever is gonna get them hyped and turned up at the moment. So on that end, yes, because there are a lot of the ones that are listening in the midst of the criminal activities. Some of these music was pumping them up, motivating them to go do it. Now, I'm not saying, every song that you hear where somebody's talking about, shooting somebody, knocking somebody off, that somebody's going to have the idea, say, oh, you know what, I'm going to do that too. But if you keep doing the same thing and saying the same thing, you keep hearing the same thing, you keep feeling the same way, and you're inactive based on what you're hearing and what you're feeling, at some point you're going to move and act on it. And then it becomes, well, what are you going to do? Well, what's your head filled with? What's your heart filled with? I'm angry about the economic situation. I'm angry because I'm in poverty. And this music just exacerbates my situation. And it makes me even more angry. You see? So, yeah, it has a power of compulsion. That's a two-sided answer, yes and no. Yeah, I'd say yes and no, but that yes, man, that's a lot of responsible people out there. A lot of responsible artists who are influenced and compelled by the industry and their handlers. Some of these people out here making this music that they're making, they don't want to make that kind of music. But you forget about that to a degree when you start seeing your publishing checks and everything coming, every quarter of the year. You forget about who you're influencing, how you're influencing, and what you're influencing. When you start seeing all of that money, coming, that money will cloud your vision, cloud your clarity in your mind, your mental, cloud all of that. Sometimes, I tell, some of the young brothers, like, sometimes wealth is a punishment. It's a punishment sometimes because it'll distract you from the beneficial things you could be doing with the resources, and I think that's a part of where we find ourselves now. You was talking earlier about, the spending power of African, of the indigenous people here, $1 trillion, 700 something upwards, is in the 775 billion, close to maybe $1 trillion is our spending power, and we're being compelled to spend that money. Sometimes it's stuff that we don't even need. It doesn't even benefit us. We don't even recirculate or recycle the dollar in our own communities, for and resource. We don't strengthen the dollar in our community. As soon as we get that money, somebody else gets it. It's going to go to a bill. You're going to give it to the gas, the gas station, at a restaurant, groceries. Everybody gets the money before, you empower the dollar. We send it out. We don't even circulate to spend it in our own community. Knowledge has a bicycle shop. I have a bakery. Steve has a drink shop. So why can't you come over to my bread shop, have bread or donuts, whatever, while I'm waiting on you to fix my bike in the back? Steve comes over, he's bringing drinks from his drink shop, and we all spending that money right there together before we send it out. We empower it and strengthen it within our own circle before we, send it out. But that's not what we do, as a people. Everybody else gets it. And then we're looking back like, damn, I'm broke. Where did all that money go? We come to find out, a great portion of what we spend, was frivolous. We don't even, some of the stuff we spend the money on, we don't even need, we don't even want, and it goes back to the power of compulsion. People always say that money is the root of all evil. I don't believe that. I think desire is the root, of all evil. It's not the money, it's desire, it's your feeling, it's that compulsion. You get that money and your mind, your spirit ain't right, you're not gonna do the right thing with the money. You don't do anything, whatever that's adverse to what's right, So yeah, bro. We we gotta do better and be more responsible with what we have and who we are. Be, more cognizant of who we are. Don't just believe, know. Belief is ignorance. I tell you my name is John and you believe it. My name is not John, but if you believe it, hey, that's on you. But that's not my name. But if you believe that, it's ignorance that you're not even cognizant of. You don't even know that, you don't even know that's not true. And sometimes it's not your fault. We can be, human beings, we can be convincing sometimes, so got to be firm and knowing who we are and why we are. And the what and everything else, the what's and the whens, all of that becomes a bit more clear, the purpose for those things. We able to move and walk in surety and confidence throughout all of this madness,
Agreed. I love your answer. I love your answer. It's research, and research begins with a question. The
Indeed.
pathway to knowing is questioning. That there's a process to arrive at knowledge. You
Right.
take information from different sources, different perspectives, lived experience, and all of that. That accumulation of facts. That accumulation of facts is that process to arrive at knowledge. So it's not just simply somebody told you something and now you know it.
Right.
You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, and it don't work like that. So you go through that arduous process of going from a state of unknowing to a state of knowing. Process,
Right.
you know. So with that answer that we're looking for, I'm looking for this answer. All of two of the books and documentaries that I'm working on are questions. They're questions. You see what I'm saying? We have
Yeah.
all of this advanced language, and we got our chakras aligned, and we vegan and all these other things. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm still looking at root cause analysis. So, my other research question is, why are we still referring to ourselves as the N word and the B word in 2023? Like, how are we still here? You know,
Yeah.
People would tell you like, "Hey, we're indigenous to this landmass right here, right? We were here. We didn't come here on slave ships. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they'd be like, "Oh, well, we're from the Sirius star system, or
Yeah.
we're from the mother continent, or I follow this particular spiritual path or this religious path, or whatever the case may be, brother Thaddeus. We got all of these answers except for what we call ourselves.
Right.
Because whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Moor, whether you're an Israelite, whether you're a Nawabian, whether you're an atheist, whether you're agnostic, whatever the case is,
Yeah.
God or the devil, somehow, black men, black women, and black children are N words or B words or N words and B words together, and still we interface with each other from that mind, and it's perplexing to me. It's perplexing to me. So these two, research questions in regards to this, you know, hip hop industry, and then how we see ourselves. Because you call yourself how you see yourself.
Indeed.
Because if you see yourself as divine, if you see yourself as God, you speak God to one another. We say peace to the God within one another, but I got the gods saying peace to the God what's good my N word. I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like I have to be both, and then the justifications are glaring as well. And I want to give everybody their credence and ode to however you do, it's whatever you do. I just want to seek to understand that. Like, okay, you have all of this other language, everything else. We can break down all of the everything,
Yeah.
except this. You see what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah.
you be like, somebody could tell me, hey, brother, you're not black. You could tell me I'm not black, and black has no standing in law, but you still want to call me the N-word. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, so wait, like, so you don't have no problem with this right here. So I need to declare my nationality and put it on the record, blah blah blah, and do what I need to do. N-word over here. You say, oh, okay, we're Israelites. You see what I'm saying? And we waiting on Yahweh and Yahweh Shai to crack the sky. N-word. You see what I'm saying? Oh, I stopped
Yeah.
eating meat. You say, I detox myself. I'm good. I'm vegan. Blah blah blah. N-word. You see what I'm saying? So it didn't matter where it was, whether they was covered by the blood of Jesus or they went to Mecca, whatever
Yeah.
the case may be. I'm still their N-word. So it was perplexing to me. I'm still your N-word. The black woman, she could be God and the devil. Okay. N-word, B-word, B-word, N-word, N-word, B-word. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and then they come to me like it's a term of endearment, like, I use it like this, like, wait a minute, you can't give me or ascribe to me or this black woman here the same word that you could use to shoot us in front of our mothers, and then tell me it's a term of endearment. You see what I'm saying? As soon as I
Yeah.
see that N word, as soon as I see that B word, it's on site. You don't care if they're children with them. You don't care what happened. I saw one of the videos, the brother on the front row of the church, on the
Yeah.
front row of the church, the brother seen him and punched at him at the church. They fighting in front of the church. Pews, like they're in the pew. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
what did he have in his head? Wherever I see that N word, it's on site. And he meant it. So this can't be something that's going to help me unify
Right.
amongst a fractionalized people. That's just me. Somebody
Yeah.
else might be different. So I wanted to kind of lay those things out in regards to that and get some insight, because I'm like, wait a minute, like I can't have something that's to my detriment look like it's for my benefit, not for me. For anybody
Yeah.
else, that's on them. But for me, I want to look at it, but I want to give credence to wherever people are coming from. So
Yeah. And I would say it's not even a term of endearment. It's a term for an endangered species.
whoo,
You know what I mean?
yes.
That's what it is. I mean, it's everything that is associated with that word at some point leads to death.
Right.
Because you don't get angry and like, I'm gonna go out here and shoot my brother in the head. Like, no, I'm gonna go shoot this word in the head.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So man, we living in some trying times right now. And let's say I was saying, that's like what we've been discussing for the most part, a lot of the during the podcast. We have to love ourselves first. And you can't show love if you've never been shown love.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I definitely can't expect you to show me any love if you haven't been shown any. If it's not in you, I can't expect that. And you don't even know how to receive love when it's being given to you. Like even amongst brothers, sometimes we don't understand, like loving your brother. We don't understand that. Want for your brother what you want for yourself. Loving your brother so there's no harm, given to him, or coming his way. Protecting your brother from harm, protecting yourself from harm. And so we have we're under the impression that love between men is gay. Love between brothers is gay.
Right.
So once we get out of that mindset, that psyche, that Western ideology, and especially understanding not just the etymology of words, but expanding our vocabulary, reading more, we have an understanding of what we're saying and the power behind our words. There's a power behind words. And a lot of people would tell you they don't believe it. But as we just discussed, if there isn't a power in words, if words have no power, how would you feel? What would your response or reaction be if a total stranger, European, walks up to you and say, "Hey, what's up, my Ann? Where's the nearest store at, Ann?" That's going to make you feel a certain way. That not anything else that's in that sentence except the N word.
Right.
That's what's going to go. Like, hold up, that's going to make you feel a certain way, right? There's an energy behind words. We cast spells behind these words, behind the alphabets. And we have to have it goes back to writing. Understanding there's a power of compulsion in your words. And that we can call people to things or turn people away from things, right? Just based on what we say, how we say it, what we write, how it's being written. It's a grand responsibility upon us. So as like I said, it's not something that I take lightly. Even with the music, if it's just instrumentals, I don't take it lightly. When I hear and I sense something, I'm gonna, like, within myself, I'm gonna check it out first. Like, okay, I'm feeling a certain way. Let me see where this is going before I start articulating this musically.
Right.
Because I don't, certain sounds open certain doors, certain frequencies, low vibrational frequencies, high vibrational frequencies, open certain doors, and they call certain things, beings into your presence. Just frequencies, and we got to be aware and be responsible, and know, what we're calling people to, what we're calling people.
Right.
What we're calling people. If I call you God, you're going to be offended if I call you God. But if I call you, the N word, you may or may not be offended by that either.
Right.
But who do you know that gets offended by being called, given the righteous nomenclature, except the wicked? You know what I mean?
I've had it happen. Believe me. Don't be calling me no God. I ain't no God or no king. Don't be calling me brother. I ain't your brother. N-word. You understand what I'm saying? Like literally, that's the dynamic. So it's like, oh, I don't want to hear none of that righteous stuff you talking about, N-word. You understand? Like literally like that. Like, I'm like, okay, I didn't have to educate people for about 3 decades on what I'm not. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not the N-word, brother. I'm not the N-word sister. You understand what I'm saying? Like, no way. And this is that accumulation of facts again, leading to knowledge for
indeed
3 decades. This is what I had. My N-word. I'm like, that this is what the slave master said about his property, her property. This is how they referred to our ancestors as their property.
Yeah.
Possession, like taking hold of, my N-word. You see what I'm saying? If I say that that's my N-word, I would blah blah blah. I heard the justification. I was like, hey, this is what the slave master did for its property.
Yeah.
It fought for its property because it bought it. You see what I'm saying? Like it's its property. That denotes the ownership. That my is possessive. It's showing a space of possession. So when you say my, it's denoting some level of ownership. So when you say my N word or my B word, this is where you are with it. You're saying that in the same way that the plantation owner referred to its property. You see what I'm saying? So, like, this is how you could destroy that because you don't think about it. If I'm sitting on a chair, my chair doesn't work anymore. I'm throwing the chair in the trash, right? So if a bunch of chairs rallied themselves out in front of my house and said all chairs lives matter or chairs lives matter, you'd be like, what are you talking about? A chair, it's only good as long as it's useful. When it's no longer useful to you, you're going to throw that chair out. You're not even going to try to fix the chair. You're not going to try to repair that chair and make that chair whole. You're not going to say, hey, thank you, chair, for all of your years of service. Let me compensate your chair generations. You're
You
going
take
to
that
look
chair.
at that chair and throw that chair in the trash because now it's become trash.
Or send
So,
a chair to send it to Alabama.
right. So the space in which we're operating in regards to our analysis of self or how we see self in this space of repair, in this space of restitution, in the space of damages. Oh, we look at it, kind of crazy. Those things decide what we see, what we hear, and how we see about what we see and what we hear. They decided. So the young people that are committing atrocities, somebody other than them decided what they see and what they hear.
Yeah.
So they're reacting to what they see and what they hear. It wasn't their decision in the first place. The decision was already made. They're existing in the space that's reactionary to this. So what they're being fed through that space, somebody decided. Somebody decided what they were going to see and what they were going to hear and how they're going to experience it down to that aspect right there. So these are things that I'm looking at in regards to these research questions.
Yeah.
Because if this is something that is true, so for everyone who says yes, there's a way of evidence that they have to present. And then for those who say no, there's a way of evidence that they have to produce. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when you look at it from that perspective, I'm looking at it the way someone will look at it in a case of law. So because this is where things are decided in regards to damages, blah blah blah. Now, so either we hold court in the street or we hold court someplace else. You understand? One way or another, court is being held and decisions are being made and then implementations of those decisions. So based on whatever the ruling is, that's what it is.
Indeed.
So we're still operating from that space, whether we in the courtroom or we in the street room, we're going to operate from that space. So the determining factors come based upon the evidence that's presented. So we're dealing with those things from that perspective. So if you say yes, this happens, or no, this doesn't happen, we have to prove it. And we have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. And then one side or the other side has to raise reasonable suspicion. So if they say, oh no, the hip hop industry don't owe no black people reparations, we make black millionaires and they present their evidence. So you're looking at it like, okay, these people want to be millionaires or billionaires, whoever they are, without this particular industry. Now we have to prove malice or forethought in there. So now we have to raise reasonable suspicion. So, the reparations conversation that's being had as a whole, there's a lot of sensationalism that's approaching, but not a lot of things that are credible in regards to factual information that will work in the court of law or any law anywhere. You see what I'm saying? Like if
Yeah.
I'm upset about something, I'll be like, well, they're like, well, why are you upset about it? And I tell them, oh, well, because I'm upset. That ain't gonna help. No, that's not helping my case. You see what I'm saying? That there's a
Yeah.
watch this training day is not what you know, it's what you can prove. So what can you prove? What can you prove? So if you can prove that they're liable, they're liable for damages. They're liable for restitution. You're due payment. Your due compensation. If
Right.
I drunk all of the alcohol and got in my car and went and hit cars and I hit a light pole, I got to pay for those cars. I got to pay for my car. I got to pay the city because I hit the light pole. I got to pay for the ambulance that came if an ambulance came. You see what I'm saying? If the fire
Yeah.
department came, if the police department came, whoever came to that scene, I have to pay all of them. So I'm liable for those damages, and there are punitive ramifications if I don't pay for those damages right there. So if we're looking at an industry from that perspective, if we're looking at the American government from that perspective, wherever the case may be, we work with things at a credible case. We
Right.
both old enough to remember Sean Bell. We both old enough to remember Rodney King. In those instances, 40 people came to court and witnessed as eyewitness testimony for Sean Bell. All of those cases was invalidated, the testimony, because all of them had criminal records. They went through each one and disqualified what they saw based off of what they did. You see what I'm saying? You
Oh
seen
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You see it. So when they go through this process of it and you look at it, where are we in that space? Where are we in regards to how we're seen, how we're viewed, how we're portrayed? And does that make us credible or non-credible in regards to our testimony? So if I'm a crook, if I'm a liar, if I'm an abuser, if I'm a molester, how credible is my testimony?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And these are the games that are played when we look at our position or condition and make indictments. We have to look at, avenues of approach to have a remedy. So that's my mind from a research kind of perspective and
Okay.
delving into it, you know, uh, from a research standpoint. Aside from how I feel, because I feel a way, but
Yeah.
the evidence, in the facts and truth, you know, may be something else. So I'm reporting on my findings in that particular space.
Okay.
So I would
Indeed.
love input. I would love Queen's input in that space, as well, and some other things as well. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We definitely sign us up for that, brother. Sign us up for that. Yeah. 'Cause, that's a heavy topic, and I don't even know if I've ever heard anyone approach it from that perspective. So that should be that's innovative. It's innovative thinking. Some heavy thinking. Like what are we owed, even from ourselves? What are we owed? 'Cause we've done a lot of harm to ourselves. We've oppressed ourselves. So yeah, that's heavy.
right. When I spoke to Lord Jamar, he brought that aspect up. He was like, so we went back and looked at your catalog, you know, from the artist perspective. And, you came out with these, particular songs, what were you promoting in your songs? What were you promoting in your art? What were you promoting in your music? So
Yeah.
he said that. You see what I'm saying? He said that, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't even think about that. I'm looking at, the industry, because we're looking for culpability, you know,
Yeah.
and I hear a space of accountability, and I hear that perspective, and they're like, oh, ain't nobody put a gun to their head and make them sign them contracts, and I use the accident, analogy. I said, if you've been in an accident Somebody hit your car. With everything that you know, who are you going to call? You can call a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So no matter what you know, you're going to call a lawyer, right? Yeah. That's it. So if you were 16 and somebody approached you with a contract that was written up by a lawyer and you didn't have a lawyer, do you know what you were signing? You know, we
Mm.
got social media accounts and they have terms of use, terms of service, conditions. Do we understand what we were signing up for? No. We just wanted to connect with our family, our loved ones, whomever, network, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. We have no clue what's in those contracts that we agree to. Terms of service, click. We just click and we ready to start looking for our family members online. So, and we're at our grown age. You understand what I'm saying? We're not
Yeah.
16 years old. We're at our grown age and we just wanted to talk to our loved ones in the virtual space. We have no clue to how our likeness, our words, things like that, you know, what this social engineering space has done and the kinds of atrocities that have been inflicted upon people and families and, you know, court proceedings that were used because we said hey on the internet. But we still say hey on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like we start looking at these, you know, microcosms and we make these indictments. We have to be able to look at the, the evidence. You see what I'm saying? In the real
Yeah.
sense, you know, whether we got a cell phone bill or we have a lease or we got a mortgage or we got a position of employment or we went into business for ourselves. Everybody has some kind of contractual agreement that they might have entered into that they didn't understand. And everybody ain't go get no lawyer to look at it. And we have to trust that the lawyer is going to look at it for our best interest and not their best interest. So
Yeah.
again, you know, we're looking at it, and this is industry, and this industry has produced, you know, traumatized children for 5 decades now, and traumatized grown people for 5 decades now, who were traumatized children. So they were traumatized children who became adults who had children, and their children are in the space where they're having children. So traumatized grandparents from this industry that has made trillions of dollars while offering less than a dollar to those young people for their intellectual property. So it's just interesting. The
Yeah.
stories that are being told and the stories that aren't. You know, so that's why we have prolific platinum visionary writers like you and your queen out here promoting uh, the standard of the universe.
Appreciate that, brother. Really do. Yeah.
So this has been amazing. I'm looking forward to linking with you and the queen and then having y'all come back so y'all could teach me some more because y'all brilliant. You see what I'm saying? And I love these reactions that we have. So, do you have any final thoughts, acknowledgments, shout outs, anything that you want
Um.
to touch on before we get up out of here?
Um. Well, let me like first reiterate my infinite gratitude to you, beloved, for inviting, introducing, having me on the platform. Um, I want to thank my wife, as you know, the author as uh, Butterfly Brooks. Thank her. Shout out to her. Shout out to all of my support and artists in Baltimore City. And I'll say this in closing, I guess. Um, don't doubt yourself. Be sure of who you are. Never doubt yourself. Be sure of who you are. Know who you are. And don't let anyone take that identity away from you. Stand firm on who you are. because I mean this is a world without boundaries, and it's easy to get lost in places without boundaries. So you can't get lost in a room with four walls, but in a space where there are no boundaries, nothing, you're not closed in, you can lose yourself. So I reiterate, don't doubt yourself. Be sure about who you are, know who you are, and stand firm on it. And in the midst of all of the adversity and rebellion from others, whatever the case may be, you will stand strong in the end. Yeah, so don't doubt yourself. Those are my closing words. Yeah.
And where people can find you via the world of social media.
You can find me on Facebook, Thaddeus Kane, author Thaddeus Kane, Instagram, Thaddeus Kane. If you're interested in the music, you can Google, you can find me on Instagram at Q Moon Beats, or on Facebook as Ramalik Moon. I'm all over the place. Or just go to Sun Q Moon Creative Partnership, sunqmoon.com, or I think that's about it. I'm not really as active on social media as I should, but I will be here soon. So I got books to promote, music to promote, so I'm gonna be a bit more active with the social media. But yeah, man, I really do appreciate the interview, and the opportunity. Lets me know that it's not all for nothing. People see you, people hear you, so I appreciate you elevating me on your platform.
We celebrating good times. Come on, you know how the song go.
Indeed.
I thank you and your queen for uplifting us and thinking enough of us, because you can write about anything if you're talented and make $1 billion. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It wouldn't matter. But for y'all to put us as a priority, to put Black people as a priority, to put Black love as a priority, and be uncompromising in that space, because you can teeter around as well. You see what I'm saying? So for the love that you've shown us, we're being reciprocal. I pray we're being reciprocal with that love and support for what you've done and what you will do in regards to us. So
gratitude, beloved.
Likewise. So we have the great advocate for Black love and Black family, the multi-talented, multi-tiered, multi-layered, visionary, platinum mind of Thaddeus Kane. Okay.
Peace, love, light, and blessings.
Peace, love, light, and blessings. We are out of here.
All right. Peace, beloved.
Peace.
support the guard knowledge born. Even knowledge radio. 8 years. 8 years. And knowledge is accumulation of all facts. Keeping the guard the earth.
If you love me, say you're loving me, man. Don't wait till I'm gonna say you're loving me, fam. Cause when it's said and done, then you said nothing. You gon' be wishing that you would've said something. I can't smell a tree when I'm 6 feet deep in the box with dirt thrown on top of me. Why you wanna wait till I'm not breathing to cry on my chest and tell me how you was feeling? You say I'll tell them, let them see me at my best, but you're not knowing how much time is left. You keep saying when you get around to it, but they say the same thing, so nobody ever do it. I've been through it, wishing I could take it back, turn the clock back to where we fell out at. If I could, I'd part waters like Moses and give you dozens while you can still smell the roses.
Still got love here, even though all the love is gone. I do what my brothers do, come on with my brothers.
Royal priesthood. Yeah. Vedic vape papers. Yeah, all nature. Yeah, here we go. 1, 2. Call me Captain Invisible, Master Original, Super Saiyan of Saiyans, graphic and visual, math metaphysical, rap somewhat mystical. From a sun-kissed vehicle, I come to spit lyrical. When I talk, I force crowds to come forth. As I return lyrical hip-hop to its source. That's food for thought. I add salt, so let it sit in the pot like broth. Stir it till it cools off. Nourishment from New York sidewalks. Rent with high cost apartments, vents and lofts. Space and treble was twist. The ghetto was lit. I take my space behind the tape as the next pharaoh to sit. From sunrise to become Ra. Then I became God from Kane's Yard. Brooklyn from the train yard. Spray paint, brave saints, late night rain hard. Engraved ink, they drink back on the boulevard. My flow irritate demons. Make them uncomfortable like it's a palm reading. Cause when I write it's like I'm foreseeing those in your circle that will hurt you and across regions. I call them out throughout our 4 seasons. They say my quotes galvanize ghosts and make the place spooky. Like cemetery chase in the movie. My pen embraces beauty, a taste of grace. A face with 4 aces, greatness truly. To balance the brilliant bipolar, try yoga. Till the skies lower, they climb over. The time flow, I baptize Noah. Joan of Arc, my refuse to get up persona. Rosa Parks, this is mental health help. Protect the temple, be gentle with self. The giant to elf, though it seem hard, it's simple with stealth. Attentive, attractive, anxiety disorders. Super supportive, silent schizophrenia. Dementia door walker. Dementia for millennials before the authors of Horus. Before the spirits moved across the waters. And my lyrics wrote themselves in Taurus. And Methuselah finally had rigor mortis. Now man makes machine to dig through the forest. The land placed with kings till he's through the orbit. I'm the understanding place in my queen in August. But there's more than 16 bars. Show and prove God.
Calculated zodiac, I figured the water formula. More mates of war braids dripping before Lemuria. Swimming in sound waves, the rivers of every aura. The dreaming's the real streaming Piscean movie Emporia. Currency's words for me, each sign is a note. That's $1. Dalai Lama Lake, I'm torching the boat. Cross the river Styx with an orchestra and 2 goats. Rode a llama through the lake of fire, walked through the cloak. Darth Vader, peak the charm, leg to leg. Spoke the Brahma through an ancient wire, thought I was woke. Dreams wrapped in dreams, inception of a Russian doll maker. The secretive confessions of 100 stargazers giving birth to the future, but it wasn't hard labor. Bizarre nature, they be saying we extreme. You think you woke till you wake up in the next dream. Guitar player made the music to connect scenes. What up with the clones of a nation, a depth fetus, a repeating simulation of the living death secrets. Rebellious hidden nation in the masonry beams. This is light architecture that remains to be seen. Made tea inside the circle, so I bake in the steam. Taurus taking nanobites till I ate the machine. Who could swallow volcanoes like a plate of cuisine? Cause God made the spiral, then hypnotized himself, staring at his own chart. Now who could wake the supreme? So eternity at once, in the space in the stream, between infinity and now and all this placed in between. They so hungry for the light to get a taste of the gleam. The clip's empty, I'm trying to refill it, but the beat's already dead, I'm trying to re-kill it. Inside of a deep skillet, stop lying to me, spill it. Exercise peace while you puzzle, I still fit. Your circle's out of shape with no muscular build fit. Papers from banana plants to puffin' my grills with. Jungles though I'm used to going dust like the bill split. Light pole, fixed stars, froze time, I'm still lit. Playing freeze tag with my past self, I'm still lit. I'm still reppin' my past rain, I still drip. That's nice and cool, Zodiac bicycle. Rapid eye motion, beats with appetites roaming. This sounds like a job, but this is Captain Sky Ocean, Superman and Mr. Universe who snatched the time potion. Shoot, they optimism like it's magnified, hoping lyrics hit the firmament case and it cracked it wide open, wide open, wide open. Yo, life's a solar roller coaster. Time will make you hold me closer. Hold the torch, show support. My hands that stroke your shoulders to dismantle all your boulders. Heavy is the crown she wore, the stars within her dress, the nest with heaven in her gown. Well, I'm the poet that guided souls, but legacies around. My centerpiece extend, my reach is destiny bounds. Don't be fooled by those who move in squares. Beauty's in the air. Spiritual is spherical, a miracle so rare. I got lyrics in my head. My locks contain the prophet's names. This is where my compass aim. Vision of my conscious claims, paradise within. On the path that I begin. From the navel, stomach, cable, love is able. Summon angels, cut the labels that's been placed on you. Cattle brands and fasted lambs, secretly they claiming you. Stay your light, feel the right, wield the mic and feel the might, the power that will change it all. Rest assured the checkerboard beneath you in the Mason's hall. Knowledge is a real delight, all that I reveal is bright. This is what life is really like, with fate before is the mind control. With haters, thoughts and time unfolds, warriors in they software. Thoughts of when we all cared. Listen, these are timeless goals. Wisdom of this Mayan scroll, twisted like a Morse head. Living as a more, yeah. Love or death above the flesh. Visions of me something fresh. Counseling the lost and found. Characters are lost around. Doctrine of discovery. Still couldn't put their crosses down. Call us black with coffee brown. Cinnamon and nutmeg. Copper and mahogany. Salt and pepper thinkers. Now we peanut butter olivey. See us in the almond tree. See the planet consciously. Drop us in the colony. Akashic soul robbery. Please advance your pottery. Living sculpture, spirit culture. Hear the vulture circling. Let them wait, won't hesitate to leave you as I meditate. Astral travel past the battle. Evil didn't resonate. Cause man is an eternal blend of infinite and temporal. Intimate and special hue. Kissed by the electric glue that bonds me and connected you so highly. They respect my view. I'm trying to confess to you. A lion in the flesh with you. A lion in the flesh is true. Son of man, Leo. Understand, Neo. What a grand ego. Geographic beat the traffic. Ether magic. Reach the attic. Climbing deaconate strands. Y'all will smite the wicked, yet he guides me with the same hands. Pituitary pin to you. Got us in the same glands. Run DMT. Walk this way. I take you to where fate lands. Semen of a brave man. See it with your Ray-Bans. Secret of a space jam. Life's a motion picture. The ecliptic is the frame stand. Earth is like a flat screen. Pixel people sells themselves printed on a map screen. The tales of where we dream is now imprisoned in a vast dream. It's resurrection time. The gods are here again. I read the heaven signs. We got a hill to win. Don't you feel the change? Don't you hear the wind? Just blow your breath in mine and let the spirit in. Resurrection time. The gods are here again. I read the heaven signs. We got a hill to win. Don't you feel the change? Don't you hear the wind? Just blow your breath in mine and let the spirit in.
Welcome. Behind the Vedic veils, Sarah Bartman, Venus of Holophels, victory visits Valor Vest through Vortex, Stargate, the tarot card shows Pata's face, the goddess vape while I cigar taste, priest, I'm camouflaged within the grates, I channel into stars then disperse around space, sit candles in the Mars, then the verses I create, each bar becomes a god, past times, different place, while y'all on Instagram, I microdose with 1/10 of a gram, the mics I broke with the strength of a ram, took my rights, Jim Crow said I'm only 1/5 of a man. Now you can see the whole God that I am. I consume the whole mushroom. To whom much is given, much is required. Trust your Messiah. I'm a monsoon, a typhoon, clusters of fire. Big hands reach out the jewel, clutching the rider. What's your desire? To rule. My heavy mental became an empire. With the symbol of pinballs, it's simple, I reign wiser. My temples are raised higher. Explain firmly. Hermes, Trismegistus, and lyrics that specialize in the pyramids and physics. It's mesmerizing for human ears to hear this. My nebula guidance. Soon you feel this weirdness. Your blood pressure rises. You get cold as the fear grips your soul. The sheer bliss you go. Spirit from bones. This way into the vape room. Read my Vedas may make you want to take shrooms. Be free in nature. Can your nostrils take fumes? You need the gospel as you face doom. I lay in tombs of ski on vapor. The Kabbalion. 528 hertz the volume. My verse is like the universe is falling. I search. There's no human worth my calling. The whole earth, every womb, every coffin. The hermetic hookah lounge. I'm in the back, I'm not used to crowds. Sudden movements in groups too loud. I just lounge in my suit and crown. Cigars in the car, red shoes on the towels. Wild style when I blow a cloud. Women get aroused as their attention swim around. It's written down, pen is swung like a pendulum. My writing is psilocybin mycelium. Bicentennium, bodies and drums to next millennium. Reptilian, necks get rung, I'm killing them. Since Da Vinci carved this demigod. Called the priest cause he knew I came from the infinite divinity squad. Heru, Nimrod. Firestones engraved to the Templar. Priest, I rise upon the throne where sages grew, Avenger.
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them. Night in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? So no more. This man's mind is open. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a. Let's get back to the
motive is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.